Hey there, this is Kat Ramirez. I am CEO and founder of Advertise and hashtag Social Buzz. Woo! So I wanted to come on today and talk to you about websites. So I have been getting a lot of inquiries about websites, and we've been doing some social media management for a few businesses that did not have a website. And so I want to talk about websites today because I think a lot of the questions that people have, you might have, and let's answer those questions in case you don't have a resource or someone to ask those questions to make sure that you're in the right direction or you're doing the right things, or you understand the dynamics and what's going on, or even that if you have any questions, like, most people don't have a resource. So leave me a comment if you have any questions. Make sure you give me a thumbs up if you're watching me live. Would love a heart too, if you can. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And again, let me know if you have any questions in regards to websites and how to get started with them. So fortunately for you today, I don't have any notes because this is like second nature for me. And I can just go through a lot of the questions or things that I talk to people about. So this is going to be very informational. And so the first thing I want to address is, do you need a website? Okay, so that's the first question, because I get this a lot. And people are like, I don't need a website. I do multi-level marketing. Or I don't need a website. I do consulting. I send everybody to my LinkedIn. Or I don't need a website because, this is a side hustle. This is a side hustle. And so regardless what your business entity is, if you're doing something where you're trying to get a call to action, if you're trying to convert people, if you're trying to make money off of it, yeah, you need a website. You need a website. So I'm here to tell you need a website. What you don't need is an expensive website that's going to break the bank. Do not. No, absolutely do not. And you have to think about your website as your electronic calling card, your destination, a place where you can control your audience. And if I want you to resonate with anything that I say today, is you want a destination where you can control your audience. And a website is exactly where you can control your audience in so many ways that I'm just going to go through them and let you know the variables of why you need a website. Okay. And again, it doesn't matter if you're a consultant, if this is a side hustle, if you're a multi-level marketer, whatever the dynamics are for you, you need a website. You absolutely do need a website. So once you have defined and you're in that situation and you say, hey, okay, that's me. I need a website. Yay. Okay, now what, Kat? What kind of website do I get? And how do I prepare to get this website built? Okay, so you have different options that you have in front of you. You can do a DIY, do it yourself website. So yes, there are websites out there that are DIY, do it yourself, okay? Or you can hire someone to do a website for you. And there's so many people out there. So you can hire an ad agency, you can hire an independent consultant, you can hire a freelancer, you can hire somebody that is soliciting business that's what they do, is make websites, okay? But before you hire someone, you should do your homework and you should figure out what kind of website do you need. Because knowing the website that you need is really, really important. Because at the end of the day, here's the reality is, if you have an e-commerce, what is e-commerce? E-commerce means, are you selling something online that they have to make a transaction? If you have an e-commerce and you want someone to make a transaction online, then you need an e-commerce website. And you need an e-commerce website that's going to support the payment system, that's going to support facilitating on the back end, invoicing, and all of that, okay? And so there are already some websites that are out there. You don't have to have it built by like a coder per se. So you can buy these pre-built e-commerce sites on like Shopify, BigCommerce. There's a bunch of them. So there is a lot of pre-built e-commerce type of sites that you can build or have someone build for you. So again, you don't necessarily have to build these if you don't want to, and if you're not creative enough or technical enough. You just have to do your homework and know what kind of site do I need first before I start hiring somebody to build a website for me. Okay, so before I keep going, I got to do some shout outs from people that are watching. Yvonne Franklin, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Woo woo. Carl, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And Jackie, thanks for watching. And Jackie says, I struggle with this question for a while. I opted for one, and I'm so glad I did. Yes, good girl. That is awesome. Okay, so first thing you're going to do is define what kind of website I need. Is it going to be an e-commerce site because I need to sell stuff and I need to capture money on the back end? Then you want an e-commerce type of website platform. And again, there's a bunch of them already out there that are template type of website, and then you can customize them to your personality, to your design, and everything. They are a little complicated, they're a little technical, so if you're not technical, just hire someone to help build it out for you, okay? And then there's just a static website, okay? Here's the reality. Nobody needs to hire a coder if you just need a basic website. If you're a consultant, you just need a basic website. If you are we just did a car detail, you just need a basic website. And when I say basic, I'm not talking plain, I'm talking on the back end basic. So on the front end, they can be flashy and jazzy and cool and exciting. So when I say basic, I am not talking like aesthetically, this is going to be a boring, like a yuck website. It's not. A basic website can still be exciting, flashing, and jazzy and cool. We did a website for a restaurant, okay? And they're not going to do ordering on their site. So they needed just a basic website, but they wanted to show the menu and they wanted to be able to update the menu. And they didn't want it to be complicated. So we created a website where they could go in on the back end really, really easy and update any of their items. And if they didn't want to do it because they're not techie, then we have a plan in place where we do the updates. It's a small little fee every month, and we don't ever nickel and dime people, So that's the other thing to think about is when you're looking at building a website and you're prospecting and looking for the person to partner with, okay, this is really, really important, okay? So if they give you a quote on the website and you check their references, please check their references and see some of their samples. Make sure you ask, what are the charges after that? Are they going to charge you for updates on the website after that? And if they are, how much is that going to be? You want to hold them accountable and you want them to be as transparent with you as possible. What I have learned is when we acquire new clients or we rebuild websites that people have had, they get sites that are coded or FTP sites or, and I'm just going to say it, even these WordPress sites where if you make one change, the whole site breaks, it's broken, that's it. So it can never be fixed. You have to completely redo the site, okay? And that costs money. But we get people who come to us because they're like, well, my website person is going to charge me $150 an hour or $75 an hour to make this change. And so what can you do, Kat? Because, I can't afford to do, 2 hours of work for this minor change, blah, 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 blah. So think about when you're thinking about website partners, ask them the costs after the website is done. You've got to talk about it. You got to ask it because you want to know. You don't want to be surprised. Most of my clients that have websites built by somebody else, they have all these surprises because they want a minor change. Employee leaves, right? You're going to update that. So you want to make sure they're very, very, very transparent. And you know exactly what you're getting. But then after the fact, what is it going to cost me to update? What is it going to cost me to change this? What is it going to cost me to do this? Or even better yet, ask them, if I don't like this website in a year, can I change it? Do I have the ability myself to change it? Or do I have to completely redo this website? So think about that and think about the questions that you're going to ask your partner about your website, okay? So we talked about what kind of website first we talked about, do you need a website? Yes, I say yes, 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 and yes. And then we talked about what kind of website. We got to determine what kind of website we need. Do we need just a plain website? And then when I say plain, I'm not talking like it's not glamorous. I'm talking like it is just a normal website, okay? Or do we need a website that is selling something, e-commerce, okay? So which of the two do we need? Because those are the two typical ones. There are very unique situations where a business is going to have a built-out website because they have this cool program or they're going to implement the software and all of that. And yeah, all of that is coded. I'm talking to everyday people, you and I, we have a business, we have a side hustle, we have a multi-level marketing. Do you need a website? Yes, I'm here to tell you yes. And then the second thing, determine which type of website you want, e-commerce or as a static website. The difference is it's non-e-commerce. So e-commerce, non-e-commerce, okay? Those are the two differences, okay? Once you determine which type of website that you're going to do, then start looking for people that you want to partner with to build this website. Or like Nicole said, hey, Nicole, thanks for watching. Like Nicole said, is a do-it-yourself, DIY, do-it-yourself, DIY, sorry. Sorry, I haven't been drinking either. So I know it's a Thursday, and it's funny. I talked to a client early today, and I was like, what day is it? And they're like, it's Thursday. I know, Kat, I feel the same way. So since I've been working at home, I always get my days all bundled up and mixed up, and I'm like, what day is today? I need a calendar. Anyways, so once you know what type of website, e-commerce or non, then the next thing is to go out and start prospecting, either whether you're going to do it yourself, DIY, or you're going to hire someone to build it out for you. But if I were you, I would take a step further and figure out what platform you're going to have it on, okay? Because you can do some research and check that out. So, okay, so let's say that we go down the do-it-yourself route. There's so many websites out there that you can do it yourself that are plug and play. I mean, just about nowadays, there's a bunch of them. Kajabi, Wix, Squarespace, Weebly. I can go on and on and on. There's a ton of websites that are plug and play. Okay, just because they're plug and play does not mean that they're a bad website or that they're not as efficient or not as effective. So keep that in mind. And I'm just going to talk about the elephant in the room, because I get a lot of people who come to me and they ask me advice, and then they say, Kat, I want a WordPress site. And I'm like, okay, why do you want a WordPress site? And they're like, that's the best for SEO. So I'm just going to debug a myth right now, okay? So here's the reality, and I'm just gonna set the place for you guys, or lay the tone of this, okay? Google is a huge gorilla. It is a machine. It's a multi-million-dollar machine. Google cannot give preference to any website platform. Absolutely cannot. In fact, Google, years ago, it used to be a free-for-all that it was triggered by keywords on your website, and people would populate all these keywords on the external face of their website, and they would try to beat the system, okay? beat the system. So Google got sick of that and caught wind of it. And so what Google did was it put all websites on the same playing field. Okay, I'm going to repeat myself. It put all websites on the same playing field. So there's no website that's better than the other. What is better than the other is the SEO person you hire to put that SEO on the back end of your website. Okay, the SEO person that you hire is what is better than anything else. Websites are all the same, all of them. They're all on the same playing field. They all have to follow by the same rules that Google puts out there. So when I have a client who says, oh, I don't want this, site, I only want a WordPress because, someone told me WordPress is the best for SEO, I'm going to call bullshit on that. Yep, I said it, bullshit, because that is not true. It's a myth. It is a myth. And typically the people that say that, okay, so get ready for this, bomber. The people that say, like WordPress is the best are typically people that sell WordPress sites. They sell WordPress sites. So they don't want to sell any other sites because they train themselves. They spent all this money on training themselves for a WordPress site. And they're going to tell you, oh, WordPress is the best for SEO, blah, 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 blah. And it's not. It's the person who builds the SEO is the best for SEO. Doesn't matter what platform. Absolutely does not matter what platform you use. There are plenty of platforms to choose from. And just know that and have the confidence to know that nobody should bully you into a platform because they say it's better at this. The only thing better at this is your SEO person. That's the only thing. And I know my SEO people are going to give me a high five and say, thank you, Kat, thank you. Because, SEO is, there is method to the madness, and that's a whole new training session. But we're talking about websites today, and how do you get one built, and what do you think about, and what are the nuances around it? So again, I'm going to reiterate and say this again. The website does not have to be a WordPress for it to be good. The website does not have, it can be any platform that you choose it to be. I mean, here's what I would say is Shopify, if you're doing e-commerce, Shopify is a damn good site. They built it, kick ass, and it is an awesome site. And I hang my head on Shopify. BigCommerce is another awesome, e-commerce site. Now, the people that build these built them because they're really good at their game, and they know they had created a shopping site for themselves, and they mastered, and then they said, hey, let's duplicate this and let's sell it to other people. How awesome is that, right? So that you don't have to go and get a programmer to build your, e-commerce site. So that's pretty much the function of it and how it works. Okay, so hopefully I've cleared this up. Is for as far as sites and picking them, no platform is the best. Oh my God, I feel like in high school right now. No platform is the best. They're all on the same playing field. They have to be. Google has to give the same preference to all the websites. They cannot side with one website. Google cannot say, oh, we're going to treat WordPress differently, and it's going to be our baby, and we're going to make sure every WordPress site elevates to the top. No, sorry. Bing. Google cannot do that. Sorry. Hate to bust your bubble. So you just want to build a site that is functional, and depending on what your needs are, if you need to be able to make changes, then you want it to be friendly. If you don't really care and you don't want to make changes and you want it to, have your programmer change it for the rest of your life, fine, pick whatever site your programmer picks, So don't worry so much about that. Okay. So here's another thing that I get asked all the time, and they're like, so I actually got told this, just so you know. So this is a true to life situation. I make efficient sites. I make efficient sites for a reason. My belief is don't spend your money on the website. Spend your money on marketing the traffic to go to that website. Okay. I will repeat myself again. Don't spend your money on the website. So do not spend your money on this website. Spend your money on the marketing to drive traffic to your website. That's the name of the game. That's what you want to do. So I just, sorry, I had some few people join, and I want to make sure I do some shout outs. Hey, Emerson, thanks for joining me. I haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for joining. Again, if you guys have any questions or you want to shout out, drop the line. I'm happy to address them while I'm here. So back to where I was talking about. Okay, don't spend a ton of money. So I'm just going to use me as an example, and I'm going to give you my hard lesson that I learned. It's a very hard lesson, and I want you to learn from my lesson. And I teach my clients from my lesson, my personal lesson that I learned. I paid an arm and a leg for my very first website. Arm and a leg. It was the cost of a car. Yeah. And, you know, here's the thing that bothers me, and this is insulting to me as a business person, as a professional. When I first started my business, I didn't know that much about websites. I thought, okay, I have to have a coded site. I have to have, you know, this #1 site, you know, for my vision and my plan. And I didn't, you know, I wanted to make sure I gave my money back to the community. So I hired a local you know, woman-owned business website company, and I was like, okay, I'm going to hire them and give them my money and have them build my website. So when I met with them, I told them, oh, look, I got my little puppy here. When I met with them, I told them the designs that I wanted for my website. Oh my goodness, you're so cute. And so then, of course, they brought me back and gave me my proposal. And again, it was the cost of a car, okay? And the reason why this is a learning lesson is that website didn't generate anything for me, okay? Oops, here you go. It did not generate one thing. Traffic, customers, nothing. So what I learned, and I learned it the hard way, was do not spend an arm and a leg on your website. Spend the money on the traffic to drive, or the marketing to drive the traffic to your website. That is so much more important, and that return is a lot higher than to have this sexy, pretty website that is like a flashy car that one day you're going to retire. And I did retire that website because I don't use it. It doesn't do anything for me. And I learned a lot. I made sure that I learned after that fact. And I taught myself about websites, and I taught myself about the nuances of website and what was better and what was good and what was bad. And what ended up happening was I built my own website. I built my own. I have 3 websites I built. And now we build websites for other people. And what I learned is my website that I have today generates more traffic, more revenue than that website that cost me a car could ever do, ever. So again, this was a hard lesson for me. And I teach this to businesses because I don't want them to make the same mistake. Do not make the same mistake. You don't need a Rolls Royce. I can't even say it. You don't need a Jaguar, you know, if you can survive with a very nice, you know, Lexus, Kia, whatever. Okay. You do not need a Jaguar. And so, you know, any website can have a lot of bells and whistles. It's the creativity of the designer. It's the creativity of the person building the website that has the ability to function with those websites, okay? So any website is flexible enough to accommodate your needs. It's when you have very unique programming situations where you hire someone to code or program the site for you. So again, don't spend a ton of money on a website. And then, okay, so back to the story I was going to tell you. The story. That was my learning lesson, now the story. So I actually had a client one time tell me, so I proposed a website, and I gave my my offer, okay, we can build this website. And I said, here's my quote. And I think I said, you know, for $1,500, we can build the site from beginning to end and complete with all the bells and whistles that you need. Okay. They looked at me and they said, well, this other person told me my website should cost $5,000. And I sat there and I thought, okay, well, do you want me to come back with another quote? And in my mind, I'm thinking, I'll just come right back with $5,000. Because here's the thing, Just because a website costs more does not mean it's better. It does not mean it's better, people. Oh my God. Somebody tell me that you understand this, because I was perplexed when I gave my quote to my client and I said, hey, our website's going to cost $1,500 and we can make it look just like that. And then they're like, well, I was told that it should cost $5,000. And I'm just sitting there just like perplexed, like, okay, you want to spend $5,000? I personally would not take people's money. So just know that I would not take people's money. I am extremely fair. I'm extremely fair and I'm very transparent. And I was mortified that this person, who is an intelligent person, said that and wanted to pay $5,000 for a website that we were going to build for $1,500. So, whatever, neither here nor there. I wanted to share this story with you because if this has happened to you, I wouldn't have bought that website. I would have said, Kat, you got it. Let's hire you. Okay, let's move past that. Okay. What do you need to do once you know you have to have a website now, once you picked a partner? What do you need to do to prepare for this? You need to find websites that you like. Find websites that you like. Find websites in your category. Don't find like your neighbor's website that is the competitor to you, that is 2 buildings down. Don't do that. Find websites in other states of people that are in your industry or maybe not in your industry that you're like, I love this website. I love the feel of it. I love the way it, welcomes me. I love the way it's laid out, blah, 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 blah. These are websites that you should document and you should present to your partner. Like, let's say it's me, because the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to do a discovery call. We're going to find out, what do you have to have on the website? What do you need? What do you have to have on this website, And I would, if they don't say it, I would say you have to have a call to action, because you guys hear me pound you to death about that. Have a call to action on every page. You got to have a call to action. I can't tell you how many websites that are built that we now have to do social media for that have no call to action. None. That tells me that the person who built the site was not an expert in website. They're not an expert in marketing. They were probably the neighbor, the sister, the aunt, I don't know. But they're not an expert, because I'm here to tell you, as a marketing person, as a salesperson, as a transparent person, that I got your back, that you have to have certain things on your website. And one of those things is a call to action. Another thing that you have to have on your website is, what do you do? Here's another thing I can't believe people don't have. I'll go through people's website and I'll look and I'm like, okay, what do you do? Because I see a lot of fluff. And at the end of the day, what do you do? So it just surprises me on websites that I run into that they're not clear. The messaging is not clear. I mean, you can have a 1-page landing page and that is it. As long as it's clear and to the point, has a call to action, and it's, offering the services that you have, that's all you need. That's all you need. So you don't need to overcomplicate it. You don't need a team page. You don't need here are all my services and a catalog of stuff. You don't need all of that. If you just do bare bones, that's a great starting point, and then you can grow from there. So if you're limited in your budget, if you're limited to just a DIY, you're doing it yourself, just do simple. Keep it simple, keep it stupid. I'm sure you guys have heard this. Keep it simple, keep it stupid. And that's the name of the game, and that's the magic for you. But again, you're hiring someone, have some examples of websites that you like, that you want. Because the worst thing that will happen is you tell the person, oh, look, we're this hair designer and we want to look really chic. We don't have a branding guide. But you know what? My favorite color is pink. I want to make sure pink is on it. And I'm marketing to men and women. So they do this discovery call and they go through all of this, and then the website comes. They don't even talk to the person for days and days and days. And you're like, where's my website? Where's my website? And then finally, 3 months later, they drop this website on you. You're like, what the hell is that? That's not what I wanted.
Okay, that's what's going to happen if you don't have examples of websites to give to the person that you're working with. Okay, here's the other thing. Please don't do this. Please do not do this. Please, please, please don't do this. Please don't pay people all the money up front. Don't do it. They're going to hijack you and run. I've seen that happen all the time. Do not pay a freelancer or whoever you're going to hire and give them all the money up front. Do not do that. Give them a fourth of it. Give them a half of it. Give them a portion. That's it to get them started, because they'll need some money to get started, but do not pay the whole bill up front. I have heard too many horror stories where people hire a freelancer, a virtual assistant, and they gave them all this money, and then they've gone. It's like Tweety Bird, like tweet, tweet. They don't hear from them ever again. So don't set yourself up for failure, please. Okay. So back to your website and things that you need. So the reality is, here's at the end of the day, if you're making it yourself, there are a couple things you have to have for your website, that if either you're doing it or you hire someone, and even let's say you did do it yourself, then hire someone on the back end to clean it up and do the SEO. So don't be afraid to hire someone just to do that, okay? Because there are people that you can hire to do little tweaks and these other things. Okay, so what are the couple things that you have to have? It has to be SEO friendly, search engine optimization. This is where someone works on the back end and they code. Now this is the coding on the back end. So you do want to make sure it is SEO friendly and you're using keywords and you're using the right dialogue, because Google does have rules in regards to how you set up your SEO, and you got to play by the rules. Otherwise, you're going to be pinged or you're never going to be found. Okay, it's just simple as that. Okay, so SEO friendly. All websites have an SEO plugin or a place where you can go to where it helps you walk through the process. The thing it doesn't help you is creating that dialogue and content and keywords that you need. Okay. Okay, the other thing you need is that the website has to be mobile friendly. Absolutely has to be mobile friendly. If I look at the analytics of all my clients, half their traffic is mobile, half their traffic is on a desktop of some sort, whether it's a laptop or desktop. It has to be mobile friendly, okay? So you definitely want to make sure that SEO friendly and mobile friendly, okay? And then the third thing is you want to make sure that your website loads properly. There are people that load all kinds of pictures on their website, and this actually slows the process down. They also have other like plugins and tools, and that slows down the loading. That actually is going to prevent you from having people go to your website, because if they have to sit there and wait for a minute or two for your website to load, is not a good sign, and you're going to see people bounce off your website. Okay, so just remember that those three things are really important, that when you talk to your partner or your website person, that you make sure that they address those and that they're going to tackle those things for you, and you're looped in. Okay, so you're totally looped in. And then create a deadline. Hold your people accountable, okay? It's like building a house. What happens when you build a house and you give a deadline? Well, if they pass that deadline, ask for a discount. Say, you didn't make that deadline. What are you going to give me? I would say that website people are going to hate me. I don't care. But you got to hold yourself accountable. You got to hold them accountable. And, sometimes I do understand when websites don't complete as timed, and a lot of that is feedback from you. If you don't give the feedback to them in time, they're not going to get them done. So a lot of times that holdback is you, actually. So keep that in mind. You got to give them the information they need. Okay, so we just went through the whole dynamics of a website. So do you need a website? And watch the beginning if you want to know my answer to that. What type of website do you get? If you want to know my answer, watch the beginning again. And then do some homework on the different websites that are available to you. Do you want the website where you can make changes and it's friendly for you? Or do you want the website where you're going to leave this totally upon your website developer, designer, for the life of your website? I would not suggest that, because you might have build a bad relationship with your designer, developer, whatever. At the end of the day, the website should have the ability to be able to change and have some flexibility and mobility, okay? That's what you want. And those are the things that you should look for. And then be prepared after the website is built, or before. Ask, are there any charges, surprises if you have a change or
anything like that, because a lot of times they're not going to tell you this. They're not. And you're going to be totally surprised when the website's done and you're like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. It is so beautiful. And then you need to change. And then they're like, oh yeah, that will cost you $150. And then you're like, you didn't tell me that. I can't afford that every time I need a change. Oh my God. Because I'm sorry, you're going to have changes on your website. I just did a change for a client who had a coded website and the phone number changed. You're going to have people come and go, right? Okay, so hopefully I answered your questions in regards to that. I do appreciate everybody watching and tuning in, because I hope this was informational and informative and great stuff. And again, to summarize it, don't spend an arm and a leg on a website. You do need a website. Oh, let me find out. This is the final thing, because here's the ultimate thing with a website and why you need a website is you can control the traffic. If you ever run ads, you can put a code on your website where you retarget people. I mean, you can control your traffic. And at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. That is absolutely the most important thing. Okay. So I think I got it all. If you have any questions, reach out to me. I'm happy to answer your questions. Thank you, Jackie, for watching. She goes, this gal watched the DIY video and completed it myself. Good for you. I have another client who built a website and it looks amazing and fantastic. And I was just like, wow, that is awesome. And I couldn't believe they did it, because it was like, that looks professional. So you'd be surprised of the websites that you can build and put out there. So anyways, if you need help with a website, if there's anything that we can do, certainly reach out to us. We do websites, we do branding, logos, graphic design, anything, just about anything that you might need help with. Even if you need an analysis on your website, happy to help. Or let's say you hired someone to build out the website and you don't know how to hold them accountable or have them implement the things that you need to implement. And I am there. I'm good as a liaison as well. Okay. Thank you so much for watching today. I appreciate it. I thought this was going to be quick, down and dirty. If you, again, reach out to me. If you want me to look at your website, if you need a new website, I can happily give you a quote. And hopefully this was informational. And if there's someone that you know that can benefit from this podcast, livecast, whatever you want to call it, make sure you tag them. Make sure you share this so that other people can get this information. This is a topic that has come up over and over and over in the last couple of weeks, especially with the pandemic and new businesses popping up and people doing side hustles. So I am a fan of having a website. You need to have one. You want to drive the traffic to your website, not to somebody else's website. Okay. I hope you're having a great day, and I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much. And until next time, you got this, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.